Good morning, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga, and thank you for joining me for practice today. For class, we have a 60-minute Vinyasa focus class, and today we'll be working through our balancing and hip openers. It'll be a lot of fun working on our balancing poses where we may fall out, we may challenge ourselves in unique ways that we may not be used to. It's an all levels class, so I'll be providing many modifications along the way in an effort to make it accessible to yogis of any skill level. So I'm sure you'll find something that works for you today. Vinyasa-based classes are flow-based classes, so we'll definitely be moving and grooving throughout class. Remember to always breathe and have some fun. Now, as far as props for today, nothing's totally necessary, but if you do have a block or two, you can keep them nearby. Some larger books or even a water bottle could help today. Something just a little substantial. A lot of benefits for working on our balancing and hip openers. Hi, Coney. It can really help to strengthen our legs, as we'll see, and improve our coordination, focusing our concentration inward. A lot of times it's easy to forget to breathe in these postures, and so this is a really good opportunity to reinforce that critical element that is important in any postures or really any movement or action that we take throughout our life. Always important to breathe. Okay, I want to thank you all for joining me. I think we're all set to get started, so let's begin on our backs. Thank you, Coney. Once you come onto your backs, have your knees bent. Bring the bottoms of your feet together. Be mindful of any pets or kids nearby. So on your back, starting in Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle. Bottoms of the feet touch, knees bend and fall out to the side. This is where if you have your props, you can always place them underneath your knees. So sometimes giving a little more support underneath the knees allows this to be a little more restorative. Just choose what option works for you. And before we settle in, with your arms down by your sides, have your palms face down. Press your hands into the mat and lift your hips up just an inch or two, and then draw the tailbone away from your head and towards the backs of your heels. Release it back down onto the mat. That'll allow more of our spine to come in contact with the ground, whatever surface you're lying on. And then with your arms extended down, rotate so that your palms are now facing up towards the sky, allowing the chest to slightly open here. You can allow your gaze to maybe soften, perhaps your eyes closed. Just take a couple minutes to settle in here, allowing us to transition into our practice. Begin to relax even more by deepening your breathing. First, start by observing your breath. Notice how the air flows in and out of your body. Notice how your belly and chest may rise and fall. Then consciously start to increase the length of your inhales as well as deepening your exhales. See how much you can fill up the lungs, chest, belly as you inhale, and how much can you release in your belly, chest, lower on your exhales. Take a couple more deep breaths here. Last breath. Now, if your eyes were closed, gently blink your eyes open. Gently remove your props off to the side if you were using them. Keeping your knees bent, use your palms underneath your thighs to lift your knees up. Now keep your left foot rooted, draw your right knee into your chest, right hand on top of that right knee. Let's start to make some knee circles. Start to rotate that right knee around in circles, first direction here. Gently slow, let's move in the opposite direction. Already beginning to open up these hip sockets. Gently slow and keep the right knee hugged in, but open the right knee out to the side. Place the right ankle on top of the left knee, figure 4. Option 1 to stay here. Option 2, you can wrap your hands around the left thigh. Option 3, you can wrap your hands around the shin. Just keep both feet flexed. Try to draw the right thigh away from your body, but keep the tailbone rooted on the mat, shoulders and head on the mat as well. Just hold for one more breath here. Okay, as you release, listen very closely. So we'll extend the left leg straight out. So the left leg is straight. Keep the right knee bent and start to roll over on your right side. So left leg stays straight, right knee is bent. So you'll keep your right knee at a 45-degree angle and just make a little pillow for your head, either with your right hand or a forearm or hand, maybe elevating a little bit. Just find what's comfortable for you. So right leg is on the mat or right next to your mat, 45-degree angle. Left leg is straight out. Now place your left hand on your left hip. Really press down through this outer right hip. And on your inhale, lift the left leg up off the mat, flexing the foot. Exhale, release. Let's do that a couple times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Keep going. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Keep going. We'll do this about 10 times in total. I don't know if this is strictly a yoga pose. This kind of makes me think of Pilates, but that's okay. It'll make sense as to why we're doing this later in class. Just try to think about lifting from the inner thigh up towards the sky. Let's do one more here. And gently lower. Coming back onto your back, we'll switch to the other side. So draw both knees in to start. Recenter your hips in the center of the mat. Release the right foot down. Left hand to left knee and start to make those circles, first direction. And begin to slow opposite direction. You need the hips nice and open for class today. All right, begin to slow. Keep the left knee bent, open it out to the side, left ankle on top of that right knee. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, wrap your hands around the right thigh, lifting the right foot off the mat. Or option 3, maybe the hands come behind that right shin. Just make sure your tailbone, shoulders, back of the head are all still rooted on the mat, flexing both feet. Keep trying to draw that left thigh away from your body. Let's hold for one more breath. And then as you release, extend the right leg straight out. Keep the left knee bent as you roll onto your side. So this left leg is 90 degrees, right leg is straight out, right hand to right hip. And let's do our lift. So lifting from the inner thigh on your inhale, lift up. Keep that lifted leg flexed. Exhale, gently release. A couple more times. Keep going. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Make sure your head is supported here. You still want your neck nice and long, chin slightly tucked. And again, think about lifting from this inner thigh. Let's do 3 more here on your breath. Nice, slow, and controlled. Once you finish that last one, just release your leg down. This time, stay on your side. Come into a fetal position, so stack that right knee on top of the left, and then use your right hand to press yourself up. We're coming into tabletop. So let's all meet in tabletop pose. Get there whatever way works for you. In our tabletop, we have our wrists below our shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles all in one line, tops of the feet to the mat. Fingers are nice and spread. Gentle press to the tops of the feet and the shins into the mat. Firm those outer upper arms in so the elbow creases start to face forward. Drawing that tailbone back. Crown of the head draws forward. Draw the navel in and up to create a nice long spine. Hold for one more breath. To move through our cow cat. So on our inhale, drop the navel, tailbone lifts, heart forward, look up. Exhale, reverse that, rounding your spine, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy, cat pose. Keep moving on your breath. So inhale, tailbone lifts, heart forward, sternum draws forward. And exhale, rounding the back, drawing the navel up. Let the head hang long. Keep moving 2 or 3 more times on your breath. Remember to have a gentle press of the tops of the shins and the feet into the mat. And the more you engage your core here, the more you can release some of the tension off the wrists. All right, once you finish your last cat pose, come back, meet me back in tabletop. Now extend the right leg straight back, keep the right toes on the mat, and extend the opposite arm, left arm forward. Fingertips stay on the mat. Now notice if your shoulders or hips drop, try to keep everything equidistant from the mat. And option 1 is to stay here. Option 2, lift the right leg up. Maybe left arm draws up to shoulder height. Either way, you're flexing that back foot. This time you're lifting up through that inner right thigh. Draw the tailbone away from the back of the head and towards the back of the heel, that right lifted leg. Crown of the head draws forward, navel draws in and up. Hold for one more breath. Gentle release back into our tabletop. Recenter, switch to the opposite side. Curl those left toes under. Extend and straighten that left leg back. Right arm extends forward, right fingertips to the mat. Option 1 to stay here. Option 2, advance, lift the left leg up to hip height. Right arm lift to shoulder height. Have the thumb up, pinky down, so palm faces in. Really press back through that left heel. Keep the back foot flexed. And lifting up through that inner left thigh. Holding for one more breath here. And exhale, gently release back into your tabletop. Keep your knees and your feet hips width distance. Let's send our hips back to our heels. Child's pose. Extend your arms nice and long, releasing your forehead down to your mat. Take a couple deep breaths in your child's pose. You can always place a block underneath your forehead if it doesn't quite reach the mat. And you can lift your hips up off your heels a tiny bit as well. Just have your arms extended out nice and long. Take a couple deep breaths here. Oh, Ellen, thank you again for checking in. I can't read what you wrote, but I can see that you're checking in. So wonderful to have you again for practice here. Hold here for one more breath. All right, now keep your hips towards your heels. Let's lift our torso up as we walk our hands back. Come to our Virasana Pose. Knees and feet stay hips width distance. Hips rest on the heels. If this is too much for you, you can always place some blocks in between your legs to give you a little bit of elevation. You can also curl your toes under. And if neither of those options work for you, just come to a cross-legged seat. Working on our wrists. So let's intersect our fingers together. Bring the bottoms of the wrist to touch, elbows to touch, and start rolling in one direction. Allowing our wrists to. A little bit of love here. All right, let's begin to slow, move in that opposite direction. Coney wants to say hi again. We're trying to send warmth to everyone back in the Baltimore and DC area. We hear getting a lot of snow lately. It's been pretty chilly across the state, so trying to send as much warmth and love back up to the States. All right. Begin to release that. Separate your fingers and then re-intersect your fingers opposite thumb on top. Let's do the same thing. Wrist touch, elbows in. Start in your first direction, your infinity symbol or like a figure 8, whatever works for you. And begin to slow opposite direction here. Okay, you can gently release, extend your, release your fingers, and come back into tabletop. Tabletop, wrists below your shoulders, knees below your hips. A little more wrist work here. So start with your right hand lifted up off the mat. Bring the back of your hand to the mat, fingers face toward your knee. And then come back to where we started. Same thing with the left arm. So back of the hand comes to the mat, fingertips face towards the knee, and release. So keep moving back and forth, one side to the other. Even here, you're still keeping the core engaged. Gentle press of the tops of the feet and the shins into the mat. All right, once you finish your left hand, evening that out, back in tabletop. All right, so now keep your left knee where it is, but kickstand your left foot out to the left side of your mat. It might even come off your mat. Curl the right toes under just as we had before. Extend and press that right heel back, but keep the toes down, and this time release the heel down. As you release the heel, you'll start to stack the hips, stack the shoulders, place your right hand to your right hip. So really opening out the chest, stacking everything here. Now, option 1 to keep your right hand on your right hip. Option 2, right arm to the sky, rotating the right palm to face forward. Take a nice deep inhale here and exhale. Option to stay here, or if you'd like, you can lift that right leg up, practicing our balance here already. So flexing that back foot, really keep a nice long spine. So just as we were before, try to lift through that inner thigh. Draw the tailbone away from the back of the head and towards the heel of that lifted leg. Hold here for one more breath. Exhale as you gently release. Come back into our tabletop where we were before, and we'll switch to the other side. So this time we'll extend the left leg back, curl the toes under, kickstand the top of the right foot out to the right side, drop the left heel down, and start to open up, stack the shoulders, stack the hips, place your left hand to your left hip to start. Option 1 is to stay right here. Next option, lift that left arm up towards the sky. Really open up the chest, left palm faces forward. You can stay right here, or option 2 advantage, you can lift that left leg up. Really lift from that inner thigh. Broaden the collarbones here as you spread the shoulder blades away from each other. Hold here for one more breath. Thanks, Coney. And exhale, gently release back into your tabletop. From your tabletop, let's curl the toes under. Lift the hips up and back. Come into your downward facing dog. It's our first down dog, so let's take our dog for a walk. Maybe press one heel back, maybe press the other. Maybe you lift one leg and lift the other. Just do what's calling out for you. You can always drop back down into your knees. Pedal out your legs here as well. Keep pressing your chest back towards your thighs. Hold here for one more breath. All right, meet all back in down dog. Back in stillness. Let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Stay low, feet hips width distance. Let the crown of the head draw down. Grab opposite elbows. Ragdoll pose. Feet nice and parallel. Allow yourself to start swaying side to side, nice and gentle. You can bend your knees as much as you like. Maybe you rest your chest on your thighs. Switch whichever elbow you're grabbing, whichever form is on top, switch that up. And keep swaying from side to side here. Meet me back in stillness in the center. Release the clasp of your elbows, coming up to standing but nice and slow. Press down through your feet, spin the inner thighs in and back, and gently start to roll up your spine, stacking one vertebrae at a time. Take your time here. Coming all the way up. As you come up, let's inhale as we lift the arms up overhead, palms face each other. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Make sure your feet are nice and parallel. Hips, knees, ankles all stacked in one line. Drawing the tailbone down towards the heels. Really lifting the sternum up, but softening these front bottom ribs to the frontal hip points. Arms down by the sides, palms face forward. It's our mountain pose. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Adding some twists here. So how this will work is we'll inhale as we bring our arms up overhead. Exhale, twist to your right, extend the arms out, shoulder height, palms face away. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to your left, palms separate. Inhale to center. Exhale right. Inhale center. Exhale left. Do that two more times, each side. Inhale center. Exhale, turn to the right. Inhale center. Exhale left. Try to keep the arms nice and long throughout. One more time here. Twist to the right. Inhale center. Twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Keep both arms overhead. We'll add a side lean. So keep the left arm straight. Right arm, release it down to your right side. Press down through your feet. Take a nice deep inhale as you lift those left fingertips to the sky. Exhale, side bend right side. Keep your feet nice and planted. Press down especially through that left foot. Really creating length in this whole left side of the body. But avoid letting the right ribs collapse. Keep the shoulders and the pelvis facing forward, bicep next to the ear. Maybe you turn the neck to look up towards those left fingertips. Hold for one more breath. Press down through your feet. Inhale, bring both arms overhead, nice and long. Exhale, release the left arm down. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare, right fingertips to the sky. And exhale, side bend left side. Keeping that bicep next to the ear. Palm faces down. Really press down through that right foot. Lengthening in both sides of the body. Maybe you turn your neck to look up at those fingertips. Let's hold here for one more breath. On our inhale, lift the arms back up overhead, palms face each other. Exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, make sure you're still at the top of your mat. Feet hips width distance, arms down to the side. Press down through your feet. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Back up to standing, press down through your feet. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. One more time. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Let's build that with a vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms shoulder height. Step both feet back into plank pose. Hold plank for a couple breaths here. Shoulders over wrists. Option to drop your knees down. Either way, holding for a couple breaths, firm those outer upper arms in. We'll move through a vinyasa in a moment, which is a couple poses that we'll put back to back. And we'll have the option to, you'll have a couple different options to vinyasa throughout class. So starting with the base level. So let's all drop our knees down. Take a nice deep inhale as you shift your torso forward. Bend the elbows back, lower all the way to the mat. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Press your feet down, hips down. On your inhale, lift your head up, chest up, baby cobra. Draw the tailbone down, heart draws forward. Exhale, gently release. Keep the knees down, curl the toes. Press yourself back up into knees down plank pose. And then lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Stay here for a couple deep breaths. That vinyasa movement, that's our first option. You can continue to take that throughout practice. I'll provide a couple other options to advance along the way. Feel free to follow along. Or if you want to just skip your vinyasa, you can come back into your down dog or come into a tabletop or a child's pose if you need to reground, regroup, catch your breath. Keep pressing your chest back towards your thighs, heels draw back and down. One more breath here in down dog. Let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend your knees, exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance, inhale, lift halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet and inhale, bring the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Take a couple deep breaths here. One more breath. All right, moving on to our main sequence here. Make sure your feet are hips width distance, feet are nice and parallel, arms down to the side. Really press down through your feet and inhale as you bring the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, keep your left foot forward, step your right leg back. So in our low lunge here, keep the right knee lifted off the mat. Wrists are still underneath the shoulders. Both toes are facing forward, lifting up in a moment. So press down through your feet, and on your inhale, lift the torso up, lift the arms up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center, and place your hands on your hips. Adding some movement. So on your inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, rebend. Do that 3 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Keep moving on your breath. If you're already losing your balance here, you can separate your feet a little bit wider or bring that back leg in a little closer. Once you finish your last one, let's meet in that front leg still bent. Place your hands back to the center. Shifting forward 45 degrees, take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Exhale, press up off that back foot, lift the right knee up into your chest. From here, we'll move into tree pose. So opening the right knee out to the side, find the tree pose that works for you. Toes can stay on the mat. Just find where the bottom of your right foot makes a solid connection with the inner side of that left leg. Maybe on the calf, maybe right below or above the knee, perhaps on the inner thigh. Bringing your hands to the center of your chest. Now, as you firm the hip in, press down through the inside edge of that standing foot. So really pressing down through the inside edge of the ball and the heel of that left foot. Option to keep your arms here, or maybe you grow your branches, palms face each other. Really open up the chest here. Draw that tailbone away from the head and towards the back of that left heel. Nice long spine. Hold for one more breath. Bring the hands back to center. Release out of your tree pose. Keep the right knee bent. Bring it back to center, 90 degrees. Keep the foot flexed. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, step back into your high lunge where we were before. Keep your torso up. Now, transitioning into warrior two. Just take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, drop the right heel back, and then open the arms out nice and long, extending from the shoulders. So the right toes should be facing the long edge side. Left toes are still facing forward, short edge side. Shoulders are squared with the long edge side of the mat. Let's add some movement here. Inhale, straighten the front leg, both arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. 3 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, warrior two. Keep moving. As you do, take notice of that front knee. Make sure that ankle, knee, and hip are all in one line. Settling back into your warrior two. Checking your foot placement. Make sure you have either heel to arch alignment or maybe slightly wider heel to heel. Soften the shoulders away from the ears, adding our Virasana side angle. So low body stays just as it is. Extend the left arm forward as if someone were pulling your left arm forward. When you can't go any further, left arm to the inside edge of that left thigh, right arm up to the sky. Turn the right palm forward. Now, option here to advance. You can stay right here if this works for you. If you have a block, you can place it to the outside edge of that left foot, dropping your left arm down to the block or to the mat. Keep the right arm extended up nice and long. Option also to bring that right bicep next to the ear, palm facing down. Just keep drawing that tailbone down towards the heel. Even though that back foot is on the mat, still lifting up through that inner right thigh. Hold here for one more breath. Now stay low, release your right arm down, come back into the low lunge, lifting up that back heel. Move your block off to the side, step your left foot back to meet your right foot, Vinyasa. So we'll drop our knees down, shift forward, bend the elbows, lower all the way. Top to the feet to the mat, press your feet down, hips down. Inhale, lift your head up, chest up, baby cobra. Exhale, gently release. Keep the knees down, curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Stay for a couple deep breaths here. Arms are shoulder width distance, feet are hips width distance. Keep firming those outer upper arms in, pressing the chest back towards the thighs. One more breath here. Inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walk your step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift the arms out and up, overhead, back up to standing. Exhale, hands down through center, down to the side. Take a breath before we switch to the other side. Let's press down through our feet. Inhale, lift the arms out and up, overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. This time, keep your right foot forward. Step your left foot back. Low lunge here. Make sure both feet are in their own lanes. Pressing down through the feet, and on your inhale, lift your head up, chest up, arms up, torso up into your high lunge. Bring your hands to the center of your chest, and then arms down to your hips. On your inhale, straighten that front leg. Exhale, rebend. 3 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. 2 more times. Try to keep the ankle, knee, and hip all in one line. And exhale, bend. Stay here in your high lunge. Bring your hands to the center of your chest. Shift your torso forward 45 degrees. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, press up off the back heel. Lift the left knee up into your chest. And then open that left leg out to the side, tree pose. So find whatever version of tree pose works for you. Bottom of the left foot comes anywhere onto that inner right thigh or inner right leg. So even your toes can be on the mat here. As you firm this right hip in, press down through the inside edge of the ball and heel of that right foot, keeping you nice and stable. Really even lift that right kneecap up. Add your arms if you'd like. Maybe you separate them wide, bring them up overhead. Just keep softening the shoulders down. Spreading the collarbones as you broaden between the shoulder blades. Hold for one more breath here. And now, draw the left knee back to center. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, send that left foot back into your high lunge. Transitioning into our warrior two. So take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, drop the left heel back as you open up the hips, shoulder square to the long edge side of your mat. Extend the arms out nice and long, palms face down. Gaze comes over those right fingertips, and on your inhale, let's straighten that front leg, both arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. 3 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, warrior two. Twice more. Again, try to keep the hip, knee, and ankle in line as you're bending that front knee. All right, settling back into your warrior two. Check in with your feet. Make sure the right toes are facing the short edge of your mat. Left toes are facing the long edge side. Hip heel to arch alignment or slightly wider heel to heel. Keep the low body just as it is, and extend your right arm forward, coming into Virasana. Release the right arm to the inside of that right thigh, left arm up to the sky, rotate the left palm to face forward. Option 1 to stay right here. Option 2, if you'd like, release the right hand to the outside of the right toes. Maybe the fingertips or palm comes to the mat or to a block. Just keep firming that right hip in and lifting up through that left thigh. Hold for one more breath. And then stay low, release your left arm down. Both arms shoulder width distance on your mat. Come up on that back left heel. Send the right foot to meet the back foot. Vinyasa or skip. This time we'll shift forward, keeping our knees off the mat. Bend the elbows, lower all the way down. Tops of the feet to the mat. Push your feet down, hips down. Inhale, lift your head up, chest up, baby cobra. Exhale, gently release. Drawing the toes under, lifting the hips up and back to down dog. Come through plank pose first if you need to. Remember, you can always skip or come into child's pose or tabletop just to catch your breath. Stay for 2 more breaths here in your down dog. Let your head hang nice and heavy, rolling the inner thighs in and up towards the sky. 1 more breath. Now inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees, exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet hips with distance. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. We'll move on. So press down through your feet. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, left foot forward. Step your right foot back. Lifting right up into our high lunge. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead. Place your hands down to the center of your chest, shifting forward 45 degrees. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, shift forward. Right knee draws up into your chest. Another option to take our tree pose here. Maybe challenge yourself a little bit more. Maybe try to lift your foot, your toes off the mat. Maybe you already bring your arms up overhead, palms face each other. Maybe if tree pose becomes too easy for you, maybe you close your eyes, starting with closing one eye. Maybe you close the other eye. Just keep drawing that tailbone away from the back of your head and down towards that standing heel, keeping the chest nice and open. 1 more breath here. Now bring your hands back to the center of your chest. Right knee comes back to center. This time we'll transition to warrior 3. So take a nice deep inhale. Exhale as your torso hinges forward, your right leg extends straight back, keeping it off the mat. So you're looking for your torso and your right leg to be parallel to the mat. Flexing the back toes, try to draw the right hip down. Hold here for 1 more breath, option to release the fingertips to the mat. And then lifting your torso back up, bending that front knee, sending the right foot back, come back into your high lunge. Hands down to center, and we'll transition back into warrior 2. So drop the right heel back down, opening the arms out to the side, warrior 2 pose here. This time we'll straighten the front leg, send the right hips back, and left arm extends forward, Releasing the left arm down, Trikanasana Pose. This is where if you have a block, you can place it to the outside edge of that right toe. This helps to bring the ground up. Still with the right arm overhead, right palm faces forward. Really press down through the big toe of that front foot and the outer edge of that back heel. Even here, you're drawing that tailbone back and down, spreading the collarbones as you broaden between the shoulder blades. Arms extend out of the shoulder sockets. Hold for one more breath. Press down through that right big toe. Lift your torso back up. Place your hands to your hips, and let's parallel the feet to the long edge side of the mat. So legs stay nice and long, feet are nice and parallel here. Forward fold. So take a nice deep inhale to send your heart up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Keep your spine nice and long. Once you lower about halfway, you can stay here. If you'd like, you can allow your chin to slightly tuck and release your hands to the mat, shoulder width distance. Fingers forward, wrist back. If you can fold a little more forward, you can bend your elbows and start to walk your hands back. Maybe your wrists come in line with your heels. Just start to shift more weight into the toes and firm the legs in towards the midline. Let the crown of the head draw down. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, walking your hands back underneath your shoulders, lifting up halfway. And then stay low, walk your hands back to the front of your mat. That's where your left foot is. Lifting up back on that back heel. Send the left foot to meet the back foot. Vinyasa your way or skip it. We'll shift forward, bend the elbows, lower halfway down, tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale, lift up into your upward facing dog or back bend of choice. Curling the toes under, lifting the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Stay for 2 breaths here. Keep pressing your chest back toward your thighs. Center of the calves, draw back and down towards the mat. At ease with a little weight off your toes. Hold for 1 more breath. Let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees, exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance, inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet, inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides, other side. So press down through your feet, inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, right foot forward, left foot back. Make sure both toes are facing forward. Both feet are in their own lane. Press down through your feet and inhale, lift your chest up, torso up, arms up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center. Shift forward 45 degrees. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, press up off the back heel. Left knee draws into your chest. And then open that left knee out to your side. Find whatever tree pose works for you. Again, maybe take this as an opportunity to challenge yourself, or maybe it's a place to reinforce. Just as you firm this outer hip, press down through the inside edge of the ball and heel of that big toe of the standing foot. Really drawing that tailbone down. Choose whatever arm variation that works for you. Reaching the sternum up as you soften those front bottom ribs to the hip bones. 1 more breath here. Remember to breathe. Now, release the hands to the center. Bring the left knee back into center. Flex that left foot. Transitioning to Warrior 3. So take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, send the left leg back behind you. Torso lowers down halfway. Lifting the left leg up, keeping the back foot flexed, but releasing the left hip down. Option to release the fingertips down. We're holding for 2 breaths. Keep firming this right hip in. Maybe lift that left leg up a little bit higher. Just keep it in line with the spine. Last breath here. And then bend that front knee as you lift your torso up. Back leg falls back down into our high lunge. Lift the arms up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center. Transition to Warrior 2. Drop that left heel down. Open the shoulders. Extend the arms out nice and long. Make sure you have heel to heel alignment or a little bit wider. And let's straighten that front leg. Send the left hip back. As the right arm draws forward, then release your right arm down, left arm to the sky. Trikanasana, triangle pose. Again, you can use your block, place it underneath your right hand to the outside edge of that right foot, pressing down through that right big toe. Even here, lifting up through that left inner thigh. Become lighter on your feet if you can. Really open up the chest, broadening through the collarbones. One more breath here. Press down through that right big toe. On your inhale, lift yourself back up. And place your hands to your hips. Parallel your feet to the long edge side of your mat. Keep a nice wide stance. This time, option for a different arm variation for our Prasarita Padottanasana. With your arms behind your back, you can interlace your fingers. If they don't quite reach, just grab opposite elbows. Bring your palms together, extend your arms nice and long. Take an inhale as you send your heart up to the sky. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. You can allow your chin to slightly tuck, but still keep a nice long spine, shifting more weight into the toes. Try to lift your arms off your back a little bit more, firming the legs in towards the midline. Hold for one more breath. Stay low. Release your hands or elbows so that your arms underneath your shoulders. Lift your torso up halfway. And then walk your hands over to the right side, right foot forward. Now send your right foot to meet the left foot, Vinyasa through again, your way. Shift forward, bend the elbows, lower all the way or halfway. Tops of the feet to the mat, back bend of choice. And exhale, curl the toes under. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. From here, let's drop the knees down, tops of the feet down, send your hips back to your heels. Come into child's pose. Take a couple deep breaths here. We have one more fun little variation to move through. It's going to take all of our energy and coordination, so take a couple deep breaths to regroup and recharge here. One more breath in your child's pose. All right, begin to lift your forehead up, lift your head up, curling the toes under, lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale as you gaze forward, bend the knees. Exhale, walk your step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. If you have a block or a prop or a water bottle, place it up at the top of your mat towards the left side of your mat, so the left front side of your mat. All right, so in our nice standing position, let's inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, keep your left foot forward, step your right foot back. Press down through your feet and inhale, lift yourself up into high lunge. Hands down through center. We'll open right up into warrior two. So drop the back heel back, open up the arms, square the shoulders to the long edge side. Now make sure you have heel to arch or heel to heel alignment. Ankle, knee, and hip are stacked all in one line. Now right hand drops down to right thigh or right hip. Walk the right foot in, maybe a foot closer to the heel. So you have this kind of shortened warrior two stance. Now from here, you'll lower your left hand down, grab the block if you're using it, or lower your fingertips to the mat, maybe about a foot in front of and to the outside of the pinky side edge. Really press down through that left foot, and as you shift forward, we'll lift that right foot up off the mat. Half moon Artichandrasana pose. Now, option to stay here. If you'd like, you can raise the right arm up overhead. Just really lift up through that inner thigh as you're flexing through the back foot. Open the chest here. Really draw that tailbone away from the back of the head and towards the back heel of that lifted leg. Maybe you turn the neck to look up at those right fingertips. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release back into your warrior two. And then we'll spiral both arms forward and down, lifting up on that back heel. Send the left foot to meet the back foot, and we'll lift right up into our down dog. From here, let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees, exhale, walk your step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance, inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet, inhale, arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. All right. Again, if you're using your prop, let's place it off to the right side this time. So right side of your mat, just to the outside edge, maybe a foot in front of, and to the outside edge of that right pinky side. So you know where we're going. Here we go. Arms down to the side, press down through the feet. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, keep your right foot forward, step your left foot back. Press down through the feet. Inhale, lift up, high lunge. Hands down through center. Exhale as you drop your left heel down. Extend your arms out nice and long, warrior two pose here. Again, make sure those right toes are facing forward, left toes are facing the long edge side of your mat. Drop this left arm down. Step the back foot in about a foot. Just keep the left toe still facing out to the long edge side. And then release your right arm down, either fingertips or palm to the mat, or grab your block. Place it a foot in front of and to the outside of the pinky side edge of that right foot. And then as you shift forward, lift that left leg up. Keep the hand on the hip to start. Flexing the back foot, lift through the inner thigh. Keep drawing that right kneecap up. And as you firm that right hip in, press down through the inside edge of the ball and the heel of that standing leg. Maybe you lift your arm up to the sky, but as you broaden the collarbones, spread between the shoulder blades. Keep drawing the tailbone away from the back of the head and towards the heel, that lifted leg. Hold for one more breath, you got it. Exhale, front knee bends, lift back up into your warrior two. And then spiral both arms forward to either side of that front foot. Step the right foot to meet the back foot. Let's lift up into our down dog. And then shift forward, lower the knees to the mat, touch the feet to the mat, send your hips back to your heels, child's pose. Take a couple deep breaths in your child's pose. I know that was a lot of balance work. You might be feeling it in your legs. That's a good thing. Maybe you felt a little shaky, felt a little off balance, but that's okay. Those shakes and off balance feelings are all about strengthening all the tiny little muscles in your legs. Help you start to support yourself and become more comfortable moving into the poses next time. All right, let's lift our forehead up, lift our hips up, send our legs off to the side, and legs come out in front of us nice and long. All right, have your knees slightly bent and then bend your left knee into your chest. Place the left leg to the outside edge of that right knee. If you can't quite keep the whole entire left foot on the mat, place it back to the inside edge. I have an open twist this time. So release the right arm back, fingertips gently on the mat, left arm up to the sky. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale, twist to the right. Maybe the left elbow comes to that left knee. Open up the chest. Initiate the movement from the center of your core up through the middle of the back and through the neck. Head is the last thing to turn. Maybe look over that right shoulder. Just use your inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. Try to keep both sitting bones rooted, flexing the right foot back towards your face. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release back to center. Both legs are flexed. We'll switch to the other side. So draw the right knee in, send it to the outside or inside of that left foot. Left arm behind, right arm up to the sky. Add your twist. Twisting on your own. Looks like my battery might be low, so I'll be charging that. Just keep twisting, using your inhales to lengthen. Your exhales to twist. All right, holding here for one more breath. All right, gently release yourself. Both legs extended out nice and long. Both feet are flexed. We'll add a forward fold here. So with your toes drawing back toward your face, inhale as you bring your arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Knees can be slightly bent to start. Just try to keep drawing those toes back towards your face. Keep your spine nice and long. Imagine your heart drawing toward your toes, and extend the arms out on the mat. This is where if you have a strap, you can always wrap your strap around your bottoms of your feet. With your elbows nice and slightly bent, add a gentle pull here. If you started with your knees bent, you can start to straighten your legs. Hi, Coney. Stay here for 2 more deep breaths. One more breath. All right, gently start to walk your hands back as you lift your chest up. Place your hands next to your hips, bend your knees, send your hips up towards your heels, and gently lower onto your back, drawing your knees into your chest. Extend your arms out to a T shape, palms face up. Bring your knees and your feet together, knees over your hips, and shins parallel to the mat. Feet are flexed, a 90-degree angle. Draw the navel in and down. Use your abdominal muscles as you inhale. Exhale, gently lower off to the right side. Slow and gentle here. As your knees lower, you can either place them on the mat or you can place a prop underneath your knees to bring the ground up a little closer. Just try to root your left shoulder down. And final option to turn your neck to look over those left fingertips. Just hold for 2 more deep breaths here. And inhale back to center. Use your abdominal muscles to lift your knees back up to center. Recenter your hips if you need to. Knees over hips, shins parallel, knees and feet together. Press the backs of your hands into the mat. Draw the navel in and down. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, lower those knees off to the left side. Same options as before with the prop underneath your knees. Just try to keep your right shoulder rooted. Maybe you turn your neck to look over the right fingertips. Just hold for 1 more breath. Gaze comes back to center, knees come back overhead. Let's draw the knees back into center. Wrap your hands around your shins or your thighs. Really draw those knees in. Let's lift the shoulders and the back of the head off to the mat. Come into a nice egg shape here. Squeeze everything together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale, release and extend. Extend the legs nice and long. Extend the arms nice and long. Toes draw away from your body. Fingertips extend nice and long. Hold for 1 more breath. Just stretch, stretch, stretch. And exhale, release. Arms down to the side. Let the knees and the feet fall out to the side. Savasana Pose. If you prefer any other variation of Shavasana, maybe when we started, bottoms of the feet touch, knees out to the side, placing blocks underneath your knees. Choose whatever variation of Shavasana calls out to you. Just know that this is a time to release, to soften, to ease. Start to deepen your breathing here. You always have the option to soften your gaze or close your eyes completely. Just begin to settle in. And let's begin to bring some awareness back into your body. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. Switch directions in those rotations. And come back to stillness for one last breath here on your back. Now gently draw your knees into your chest as you roll over to one side of your body. Let your knees stack, arms stack. Stay for a breath here on your side. And keeping your eyes softened, use your top arm to press yourself up to a comfortable cross-legged seat to complete your practice today. Resting your palms on tops of your knees. Palms can face up, or bring the hands into the center of your chest. Let's all take a nice deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, exhale. Thank you all for joining me for practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me. Coney just came over to let me know that it just started to rain. So that was perfect timing at the end of class. Ellen, I did see your note. I'm glad you enjoyed the greenery, and it was nice and sunny this morning, but the clouds have come over and it just started to rain. So I'll start to wrap this up, but thank you all so much for joining me. If you ever have any questions, you can always leave them in the chat or in the video description. There are other ways to reach out for me. Thank you all so much. So before it starts to pour down too much, I'll wrap up today and I'll see you guys next time in practice. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Daniel. Peace. Well, thank you, Ellen, for your note. I appreciate it. Yes, injuries are much better now, so I'm almost up to 100% capabilities. Thank you, Ellen. Hope you have a wonderful week.